right, I'd like to call this meeting of the IDA Governance Committee to order. Could we have a roll call, please?
Sure. Mr. Blevins,
Here.
Mr. Labatt,
Here.
Mr. Hall.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. We have several resolutions. The first of being review of compensation reimbursement attendance policy. And entertain a motion to discuss that.
So moved. Second?
All right, any discussion?
I'm going to defer to Ms. Sibley.
Sure. So this is all part of our annual review process. The policies that you see here in front of you today. There are no changes that are recommended this year.
Is there any changes to any of this?
There are no changes to any of them.
Well, could we take them all at once?
I think that would make perfect.
I make a motion, we take all the resolutions at once and vote on them. Because there's no changes. That's the reason.
That's excellent. Did you, Mr. Hall, did you second that motion?
I will second that.
All right, that sounds very, and there's any discussion on any of the resolutions? Hearing none, I call it to a vote. All in favor of approving, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. We're on to current policies.
So next we have the financial disclosure.
I sent mine in, didn't I?
Yep, I
Okay.
received one from everyone. Just wondering if there's any suggestions. It's the same format that we follow with the county. And from every year before we distribute these, we look to see if there's any changes that are needed. No suggested changes, but if you have anything, we can discuss that now
Is that form created by us or by the county?
by the county.
By the county, that's what I thought.
And all forms will be delivered to the county's Board of Ethics tomorrow, so.
I believe
So-
we should have the county come give us an explanation as to how they come up with that form, but in light of the fact we didn't have that done, I think it's probably okay, but given the atmosphere of filling out personal financial statements, we want to make sure we do everything right. I don't want a multi-million-dollar assessment for filling one out wrong.
He's talking to you two.
You want a motion for that or?
I don't think that, we don't need to pass anything for that, right?
No, you're just letting them know that we received it and they'll be passed along. Correct, Mr. Blevins, we do not.
The self-evaluations, we should probably go into executive session if you want to discuss them.
Correct.
Motion for executive session?
So moved.
Executive session. All right, we are back in open session. The executive session has ended. I will ask Mr. Kelly if he has any general discussion items.
So you have your mission and performance review for the IDA. We have,
Excuse me. Board evaluations, mentioned that we reviewed those.
that's what we went into executive session for,
Correct.
but
Okay, I just didn't know if you wanted to make a note that.
we should try to make this take longer.
Sorry, go ahead.
We have, you have completed your board and your board self-evaluations, Lori's pointing out.
Right.
So just as a note for the minutes. Mission and performance review, it was a very busy year. It was a good year in terms of project activity. You have a report, we have two reports, the IDA mission and performance review, and then we have a consolidated report for the IDA, which includes the development corporations and is listed. The highlights, the job performance, the pilots, and we'll give a full report in the IDA meeting later on this afternoon. Lots of project activity. We break it down into company activity, initiatives, marketing, promotion, trying to spread the word about the services that are available to businesses. And then a significant amount about the ARPA funding that we administered on behalf of the county. It was a busy year. That is your report.
Oh, one question, Patrick, on that, or at least I'd like to hear it mentioned while we're on the video. Is the revenue generated from those projects, in particular the solar projects, this past year? Do you have that right there in front of you?
The figure for this past year was around $200,000 to $300,000.
Excellent.
It was higher the year before, but
Right.
because of the timing of the projects,
It's still a big part of revenue though.
yes, it was.
Excellent. All right, I think that's all we have for this governance meeting. Unless someone has something else, we can adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right.
Second, I mean.
The governance meeting. Now, do we
So-
continue to video?
Yes, sir. And I think what your plan would be now is to call to order the governance meetings of the IDA, LDC, the CDC, and the Property Development Corporation as one combined meeting.
ADC, yes. I would call to order the meetings previously mentioned by Mr. Kelly. 3 meetings, 1 time. Call to order, please.
Okay, Mr. Blevins,
Here.
Mr. Hall,
Here.
and Mr. Labatt.
Here.
Okay, we have a consent agenda, resolutions, reviewing compensation reimbursement and attendance policy, the whistleblower policy and procedures, the code of ethics review, the resolution of defense and indemnification policy, and the resolution for review of disposition of real property guidelines. I would entertain a motion to
So move.
have them as a consent agenda.
Second.
Any discussion? Any changes to these?
No, none.
No discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Resolutions are all approved. Financial disclosure.
Okay, the financial disclosures, have been distributed and will go to the county's Board of Ethics tomorrow. And there's been no changes noted on the form previous years.
Okay, on the agenda, you're gonna see an executive session for board self-evaluation. We can do that.
So move.
Second.
Okay, we're in executive session. We are now out of executive session. We did go over the board self-evaluations. And I would ask, Mr. Kelly, about the general discussion items.
So you have mission and performance reviews for the IDA, LDC, the Civic Development Corporation, and the Property Development Corporation. The LDC had the most activity as it typically does. There's a job report that's part of the overall IDA and LDC annual report that we're gonna pass around to everybody. Loan projects, Bent Beam, Northeastern Sign, Atlantic Testing. You had a tenant in the River Valley building, Michaels. You had a number of loans paid off that are mentioned in the report. You had the $100,000 River Valley Community Development Program that we administered. That was all done through the LDC and a lot of marketing activity. The River Valley Agency, whose funds are kept within the LDC, pays for half of the marketing, so that's included in that report. The Civic Development Corporation, a quiet year. We did a loan to the Cornell Cooperative Extension for their Ag Studies Academy classroom, and then some governance material that's included in that report. And then the Property Development Corporation, that holds the 100 Patterson Street facility, which has now been leased to the IDA, so not much activity to report in that annual review. But again, the questions about your governance and accountability that are answered, saying that you've done your you understand the mission, you understand your role, you've done your questionnaire. Everything is complete in those reports.
Okay. Any questions for any of the staff? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
We're done.